everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Booze Geek. My name is Chuck. I am your host. First and foremost, I want to apologize for being absent on last week's episode. I don't know who they got to fill in. I was a bit incapacitated, but from my understanding, he did bring you a pretty good beer from beyond the grave. So, kudos to our mystery host. But on this week's episode, we're kind of doing another little special celebration episode. We're celebrating Dias de los Muertos, which is the Mexican Day of the Dead, in celebration of the dead. So I got my Vanity Skull shirt. We got our Vanity Skull little puppies over here. I think this is a pit bull, some kind of dog, but they're cute little guys anyways. Candles, all that fun stuff. But in honor of that day, we are going to taste and review a special beer from Evans Brewing, which is in Corona, California. This is their Joaquin Dead Mexican Red Lager. Now, before I get into the beer, I want to touch on the labeling here. The labeling, obviously, it's a play on Walking Dead, but it's the Joaquin Dead in honor of Joaquin Phoenix, who is arguably one of the greatest actors of his generation. But it has four kind of drawings of his characters in some of his films, most notoriously his portrayal of the Joker, which he won an Oscar for Best Actor. But there's also Johnny Cash from when he played Johnny Cash in Walk the Line. There's his character in the movie Her, and then when he played Commodus in the movie Gladiator all those years. Oh my gosh, the movie's 21 years old. It came out in '99. Holy moly. But anyways, so great labeling on this. I just hope what's in the can matches what's outside of the can. But I'm going to crack this open in 2 seconds because, as I mentioned, this is a Mexican red lager. This clocks in at a 5.1% ABV. And it's got an IBU of 24. So, let's see how they did with their Joaquin Dead. Give this a little pour here. Almost came out of the can too fast. All right, a little there. Well, the color is pretty nice. It's a little darker than I was hoping for. I hope you guys can see that. It's got a nice veil of carbonation. And remember, most Mexican cervezas are a little over-carbonated, so I think this is a little under-carbonated personally. But it all, it all adds up to what's on the aromas and the flavors. But let's see how all of this combines. And we'll give this a swirl. We'll give this a nose. Well, it's starting out a little simple. There is a little hint of some sweet caramel. There's some bready cereal grains. A little doughy. And that's about it. But let's give it another, another swirl and give it a sip or two and see how we do on the palate. Well, I'm not sure what, it's labeled as a Mexican red, but, well, it's a little debatable. But flavor-wise, I'm getting a little bit of baked bread. There's just a hint of sweetness, almost like a brown sugar sweetness, like you put some brown sugar in the bread dough to kind of maybe sweeten it up a little bit while it's baking. Maybe one more swig here. There's some doughy notes, and that's about it. And then it starts on the tip of your tongue, but then it dies really fast. However, though, what I'm noticing is there is a alcoholic boozy aftertaste, which I'm really not enjoying, especially at 5.2%, or excuse me, 5.1%. If it was a 10.1 or 10.2%, I could definitely see that. But at 5.1, this really should not be there. It's not killing the experience. It's just a little bit more than I'd like to taste from this beer, especially, I said, at the ABV. I'll give it one more sip. Yeah, it's just kind of a lingering alcoholic residual taste. I'm going to give this a 6.5 on the pint-o-meter, just because if it was a session red, The ABV should be lower. It should be about 4.4, 4.5, maybe even 4.3. I'm not really liking the alcoholic taste, the little boozy aftertaste on this. But then the biggest problem I'm having is that, well, the balance might be okay. The flavors really die, and they die really quickly when they hit your palate. You know, I wish they would kind of linger a bit longer. However, we are still celebrating the Day of the Dead, so I'm just gonna stop there and end it on a good note. It is, I mean, it's definitely worth trying out. Grab yourself a 4-pack. It's not a bad beer by any means. Maybe if they tweak the recipe a little here and there, you know, might work on a few things, but it's definitely not bad. It's definitely worth trying out. However, with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank everyone for tuning in. I want to thank everyone for putting up with the host last week. And as always, you can follow me at the website, which is www.pubstohaveapintin.com, www.pubstohaveapintin.blogspot.com. And with that being said, we'll see you on the next episode. Cheers. Prost. Enjoy.